You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, brought to you by SDC International Shipping, LA's finest. An international move is exciting. It's a time to start over, establish a new business maybe, reestablish family ties, or retire where your budget will do more for you. Please enjoy today's episode, and if you have any questions about your international move, give us a call at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962. All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Jim for SDC International Shipping. Thanks for joining me for today's podcast episode. I'm glad you're here. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about Ireland. Ireland happens to be one of those locations that is currently drawing, I would say, above average attention. I noticed it on the website. I noticed it in search. Ireland, whether it happens to be people looking to advance their careers or they're expats looking to more or less retire, Ireland is becoming a very popular search over the last few months or so. And so I decided to look into it for myself to see what was available there currently, what was popular, what exactly people were searching for, what all the talk was about. And that's what I'm going to share with you in today's episode. So for those of you, I'm sure some of you are a little bit aware of American history. You know that the Irish were here way back in the beginning, and some of the most popular iconic cities in the country, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, you know that the Irish were very active in and involved in areas like construction. Actually, in the very early days, before the Italians immigrated here, they were the original gangs of New York. If you've ever seen that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, you know that the Irish kind of had like the original mafia, I guess, and before the Italians came in, and then those two fought it out, and then the Italians sort of became the new street gangs of New York back at that time. And it's a very interesting, fascinating history, how the Irish were involved in things like railroad and construction and just taking jobs and labor jobs that other people did not want. And the Irish had it tough. You really don't hear that much about it anymore. I'm sure if you're Irish yourself, you know, but you really don't hear people talking about historically how the Irish people were oppressed here in the United States. I know there was a plague back in the day, back in Louisiana, and they shipped in Irish by the boatload, so to speak, to remove the bodies because there were just so many of them, people dying. I forgot which plague it was, but it's part of the history of the United States that you really don't hear a lot about unless you go to those areas and you go on a tour. And so it really kind of gave me a new appreciation for not just the Irish, but Irish history in general. And of course, if you watch TV and movies, I'm sure you've seen plenty of shows, and some fictitious, some based on history, about what Ireland was like back in its struggles against the English and so on. And so every country has had its struggles. It seems like a group of people have some type of, and some more than others, of course, but obstacles that they've had to overcome. And so, yeah, I would say the Irish have a deep, rich history here in the United States. And going back to Ireland, which is interesting because sometimes people decide later in life that they'd like to return to where their roots are from, even though they were born here in the United States. I've heard many people talk about Italians, for example, even people that I know personally. They like to go back, and when they're retired, and go back to Italy, to the towns that their great-great-grandfathers immigrated from, and see what that was like. I'm sure it's so different now. It probably bears little resemblance to what it's like in the past, but there's a certain allure, I think, of what it's like to go back to where your roots are from. My family, both sides, are from Italy also. I have to say I've never really had the desire to go back. I'm originally from New Jersey. I really don't have any desire to go back there either. But I've talked to plenty of immigrants from Italy, and immigrants from Ireland, modern times in my lifetime, who came over here looking for something better. And regardless of where you're coming from or where you're going to, people are always looking for something better. And so Ireland just happens to be one of those locations that's back under the spotlight again, so to speak, that's gaining in popularity. And so, with all the things I just said in mind, I decided to go back and take a look and see what was happening there. Now, there are popular expat areas that are developed already that people are going to. I'm going to just briefly go over them. So, if you're setting your sights on Ireland for an upcoming relocation, the country has a very diverse, expat friendly group of cities and towns that are possibilities. Ireland just has this tapestry of vibrant communities that will cater to the needs and preferences of expats from all over. Because today you have that blend of the modern amenities, plus you have that historical rich culture, the landscapes, and all of that. The first place that comes to mind, of course, is going to be Dublin. Dublin, the capital city of Ireland. Dublin is a melting pot of history and culture and contemporary living. That's one of the things about technology that has made all of these locations so much different, so much more attractive than they were in the past. Even places like Central America now, for example, the internet has made the world a much smaller place. We can connect with people from all over the world without ever leaving our home. And so the ability to look into these places and learn about them, we can do it not only easier, but faster than we ever have before in the past. And technology, of course, has also impacted the way the actual moving process itself is done. And so people have been moving internationally forever. However, today the technology and the way the logistics are handled, it's smoother and it's easier than it's ever been before. Now, in some ways, I would say it's simple. In other ways, well, of course, you are talking about going to another country, so there are certain legalities that you have to be aware of. You have to understand what type of visa will be required of you, what requirements are going to be required based on your reason for going there. So you may be a student, so you're going to have a different type of requirement than somebody who's retiring, than somebody who's saying moving there with a corporate relocation. And you get where I'm coming from. So there's people moving to these locations for many different reasons. And so there's different types of visas that go along with whatever your intention happens to be. Okay, let's talk about Galway. Galway is nestled on the west coast. Galway is known for its artistic vibe, its stunning coastline. People say there's a very welcoming community there. It's known for festivals, a lively music scene, proximity to nature. And so it has a unique blend of cultural activity and relaxation as well. Cork, now this happens to be the area where I've personally talked to people living there for in business, and so I got a little idea of what it's like to live there in Cork. It seems very laid back. It's Ireland's second largest city. It's known for its picturesque waterfront, historic architecture, a thriving food scene, and expats are drawn to Cork because of its friendly atmosphere and diverse neighborhoods. There are opportunities there, thriving industries in technology and healthcare. That's one of the things that I noticed, those two industries. It seems like technology and healthcare, that there are opportunities more in other countries today than maybe even here in the United States. It could be that technology has matured to a certain point. The hardware, the groundwork has been laid. It was laid here, I guess, in the United States before a lot of other places. I would say that technology wise, as far as infrastructure goes, if there's any place maybe more ahead of the US, I would look at a place like possibly Japan, or Switzerland. Those places really seem to be cutting edge, but off the top of my head, Kinsale, the picturesque town of Kinsale, located in County Cork, is also another attractive location for expats. It's known as the hidden gem for its colorful streets, gourmet dining, and its maritime heritage. Expats seeking a tranquil coastal lifestyle often find that Kinsale's beauty and sense of community have everything that they're looking for in a relocation. Westport, tucked away on Ireland's west coast, Westport offers a picturesque setting with tree-lined streets, outdoor activities, a vibrant art scene, and expats appreciate Westport's quality of life and the friendly locals there. Kenmare, or Kenmare, that's situated in Kerry County, or County Kerry as they call it. Kenmare has quaint streets, surrounding mountains, a thriving artisan community, and expats who are looking for a peaceful retreat, being surrounded by natural beauty. They often choose a location like Kenmare for those purposes and for those reasons. And there's also quite a bit of outdoor recreational opportunities there as well. Waterford, known for its rich history, Waterford combines heritage with modern living, offering expats a blend of different cultural experience, scenic landscapes, and opportunities in tech and tourism. And they say the city's warmth and charm make it a welcoming home for newcomers. Skerry is located just north of Dublin. And if you're a soccer fan or football fan, all of these places, of course, have their local teams, so you can always enjoy the sport there. Skerries is a coastal haven known for sandy beaches, maritime activities, and a close knit community. Greystones, south of Dublin, Greystones is also known for its coastal beauty, family-friendly environment, and outdoor pursuits. Uh, Expats drawn to Greystones appreciate its scenic views, quality schools, a good community spirit, and those things combined make it a desirable place for expats looking for a new home. Kilkenny, now, Kilkenny is known for its medieval history. Kilkenny offers heritage, arts, vibrant social scene. It, of course, is also known for festivals, historic landmarks, welcoming locals. And Kilkenny is the heart of Ireland, as it's been kind of explained to me. And then we can look at Belfast, Northern Ireland's capital. Belfast combines history with the modern amenities. There's a dynamic urban environment scene there, cultural attractions, many different types of neighborhoods, opportunities in industries like tech and healthcare. These are the popular expat areas that I'm mentioning that, depending on your lifestyle, interests, aspirations, what you're looking for, some will obviously hold more appeal than others. The number one skill they're looking for right now seems to be technology. Ireland's tech sector is flourishing. Companies like Google, Facebook, and Intel have chose Ireland and Dublin, the city of Dublin, as their European hub, and skills in things like software development, data analytics, cybersecurity, IT project management. All of those areas are considered to be highly sought after in the tech industry. Again, that's in Dublin. Construction skills, very big there with the ongoing infrastructure projects, a growing housing market. Construction skills such as architecture, engineering, project management, and trades like carpentry and plumbing are in demand across Ireland as a whole right now. Number three, accounting and financial skills. Ireland's status as a global financial center creates opportunities for professionals with accounting, auditing, and financial analysis type skills, as well as risk management expertise. If you have a strong financial acumen, background, experience, and those things are highly valued in the financial services sector. Next is creative and design skills. So Ireland's thriving creative industries include design, advertising, multimedia production, graphic design, UX and UI design, user experience, user interface, for those of you who aren't aware of that. Have you ever looked at a program? Have you ever worked in a program and it just seems like the layout is cluttered and confusing. We're talking about the user experience. When you look at that and you think this could be made much better, those are the type of people that they're looking for, as well as animators and creative directors. Everything is doing very well in those sectors there. Language skills. There are multinational companies and language schools in Ireland that value language skills in languages like Spanish, German, French, and Mandarin. And because these multinational companies are coming in, if you have that skill, it's an asset. I think being multilingual is an asset no matter how you look at it. Even if you don't use it a lot, being able to speak another language is great. Web development skills and business skills also made the cut here of what they're looking for, job openings, job potential, things like web design, e-commerce development, and finally, nursing. Ireland's healthcare system relies on, like every other healthcare system, skilled nurses who are able to provide quality care to patients, and nurses with expertise and specialized areas are always in demand, and Ireland's no different. Right now, critical care, pediatric nursing, mental health, and aged care, they're all integral pieces of the healthcare workforce, and there's opportunities there also. So when we talk about shipping possessions to Ireland, let's say you're moving from Los Angeles to Ireland and you want to ensure that your move is as smooth and as secure as possible, that your possessions make it there in the same condition as they left. SDC International Shipping, this is one of the moves that we make, then that we've been making for years and years now. It's a regular move anywhere in the UK, is very popular and continues to be so. So if you need your household goods, um, first of all, I recommend, of course, that you come and visit the website at sdcinternationalshipping.com. There is so much information there that you can easily find. Everything is very clearly labeled, and that will give you a picture about how maybe your move can proceed moving forward, because every move is distinctly different. Everyone has different needs. Some people are moving fewer things than others. Other people are moving entire households, several bedrooms, vehicles, and all of that. And so, no matter where you fall on the spectrum, what's nice about working with a company like SDC International Shipping is that everything will be designed and presented specifically for your kind of mood. So, you're not going to have to pay a fee for things and services that you'll never use, that you don't need. And so what will happen is there will be an experienced people, an experienced team that will assist you in whatever type of move that you need to make. And everything from packing and crating, shipping the household goods, including furniture, appliances, electronics, personal items, all of those things can be taken care of for you, and you really don't have to worry about anything. Vehicle shipping is another thing. If you plan to bring a vehicle along to Ireland, then SDC provides shipping services to transport your car or motor vehicle. Let's say you're leaving Los Angeles, from Los Angeles to Ireland. And so the logistics will be handled for you. And now there are specific requirements and taxes involved in importing a vehicle into Ireland. You may need to pay customs duties, motor tax, vehicle registration tax, and VAT at a rate of 23%. Now, to be exempt from customs duties and taxes, you must meet certain criteria, such as having lived outside of the EU for at least the previous 12 months, or driven the car for at least 6 months before moving to Ireland, and kept the vehicle for personal use for at least 12 months after importing it. And it's recommended, of course, to register your vehicle within 6 months of arriving in Ireland to ensure compliance with all of the necessary documentation and procedures. And while it's possible to bring your car from the US to Ireland, factors like driving on the left hand side of the road and the potential costs associated with shipping and insurance, those things have to be taken into consideration before you make the decision. Now, if you have other items like a piano or expensive artwork, When you're talking about delicate items, expensive items, pianos, artwork, antiques, then we offer specialized shipping services, and expert movers will be involved in doing things like building customized crates and artwork boxes to safeguard your most valuable possessions during transit so they reach Ireland in the same condition in which they left. Customized crating is a very popular option because it will protect valuable and fragile items. So we do offer customized crating solutions tailored to the specific dimensions and requirements for each item. That's why it's customized crating. So a sturdy crate will provide an extra layer of security for delicate objects during the international shipping process. And of course, SDC offers door to door service. It's tough to beat door to door service because door to door includes everything. The door to door service streamlines the relocation process by handling all aspects of the move, from the packing and loading at your current residence to the unpacking and unloading at your new home. In this case, it would be Ireland. And so that way, the transition is as seamless as possible. And that would include things like your shipping documentation. The SDC team will assist you in preparing the necessary shipping documentation, including the title or proof of ownership or proof of sales tax, any other required paperwork for a smooth customs clearance process upon arriving in Ireland. And then there's the pickup and departure. SDC offers pickup services from any location in the U.S. and can transport your belongings to departure ports or the nearest port to your location. So, having efficient logistics really helps to ensure a timely departure and the safe delivery of your possessions to Ireland. So if you're thinking about moving to Ireland, you're ready to make the move, just remember that you can trust SDC International to handle all the complexities of shipping your possessions to Ireland. And that way you can focus on the other things. You can focus on your new adventure with a certain peace of mind because you know you're working with a team that has the experience and knows how to deliver and are dedicated to delivering a quality service and the kind of customer satisfaction that ensures a stress-free and successful relocation experience from start to finish. Now, moving from, let's say, Los Angeles to Ireland, what are some of the things that would be considered key factors, key considerations in this kind of move? Well, first, I would say climate adjustment would have to be all the way up there because Ireland has a mild, temperate climate, frequent rain, varying weather patterns. And so you would have to definitely maybe invest in the appropriate type of clothing, rain gear, and then acclimate to that type of, I guess you would call them atmospheric conditions that will be at your new home. And so climate adjustment is one of those things that, excuse me, people have to take into consideration. Cost of living is another. Research and compare the cost of living where you are versus Ireland to understand the financial implications of making this kind of a move. You have to take into account expenses such as housing, utilities, groceries, healthcare, and then and transportation, and then you have to adjust your budget accordingly. Now there are driving differences in Ireland, so you would have to familiarize yourself with the driving regulations there, including driving on the left side of the road, roundabouts, speed limits, the different types of road signage that they have. You can obtain an international driving permit and then familiarize yourself with local traffic laws to navigate the Irish roads more safely. And there's other things like cultural nuances. So, there's local customs and traditions, there's different types of social etiquette there in Ireland. So, you have to take a little time to integrate with the Irish community, maybe immerse yourself in some cultural events and appreciate the warmth and hospitality of the Irish people and you begin to forge new connections there, build new friendships. The healthcare system is another one. Ireland's healthcare system, it combines public and private healthcare services. And so you would register with a local general practitioner, familiarize yourself with the health insurance options, and that way you ensure that you have access to medical care for yourself and your family members upon arrival there. Then, of course, there's the visa requirements. You would have to be aware of what type of visa requirements would apply to you based on your nationality, your intended length of stay. Determine if you need a visa, a residency permit, or a work authorization. And that way you can ensure compliance with immigration regulations to be able to legally reside or work in Ireland. Next, there's the tax implications. A lot of people don't think about this. This is one of the things I think that hurts people more than I think the general public is aware of when it comes to relocation to anywhere. So you have to know what your tax obligations are in Ireland and what tax obligations you'll continue to have, let's say here in the United States, including income taxes, Social Security contributions, property taxes, and things like that. So it's important to consult with a tax advisor to understand your tax liabilities and your obligations as, let's say, a resident in Ireland to ensure compliance with their local laws. There's the electrical adaptations. There are differences in electrical standards between the US and Ireland, including things like voltage, plugs, and outlets. So, in some cases, if you have older items, you may have to purchase a voltage converter, plug adapters, and electrical, maybe appliances compatible with Irish standards to avoid compatibility issues. Job searches. So we already talked about the job opportunities in Ireland within different industries. So that's something that you can do online, over the phone, using email. You can update your resume and you can network with professionals there. Again, you can do most of this online, and you can consider seeking out the employment through online job portals, recruitment agencies, and online networks to secure a job before you get there. That really helps a lot to have if you're not retired, to be able to have somebody on the other end, a new employer, to help you navigate a lot of the details, that maybe things that you haven't thought of or things that you might miss relative to living there. When it comes to the shipping side of it, you don't have to be concerned about that because you're already working with someone to handle that aspect of it. But when it comes to things like healthcare and taxes and all of that, then it's good to have people who are actually there in those areas helping you with those specific things. Now, one of the other things that almost no one talks about is homesickness. Homesickness, I think, in a lot of ways, is a natural part of adjusting to living in a new country. Staying connected with friends and family back home, engaging in social activities, joining expat groups as you explore a new community, new surroundings, new country. It's all part of having a support system in place as you begin to develop a new sense of belonging in a new community. And I think that's one of the things that, especially if you have one person in your household who's going to work and spending X number of hours per week working, and then you have someone else who is home alone most of the time. Depending on the personality of the person, people kind of are different. I know that a lot of people, or some people, I'm saying a lot because I'm including myself in this description. I'm used to working alone. I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and I can be home working by myself. And when I've had enough, I get up and I get in the car and I go out, and maybe I'll do some food shopping, grocery shopping, or visit family or something like that, visit some friends, and I'm okay with that. A lot of people who are used to the 9 to 5, though, when they're suddenly at home, are not used to that. They don't like working in what they consider to be isolation. They like to have people around them. They find it very difficult adjusting to that. So I think some of those things you're not going to know until you get there and you actually experience it for yourself. But that's just something to keep in mind. All right. Well, I've gone a little bit longer with this than I intended on, but thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, as always, please go ahead and share the episode link with a friend. Share it online, email, wherever it is that you happen to be. Your sharing of this podcast most certainly makes it easier for us to reach people who we would otherwise probably not ever reach. There's just so much noise, so much information out there, and so many podcasts also. So we appreciate the fact that I appreciate the fact that you're here. Those of you who are especially here week after week, thank you so much for listening. All right, that's it for now. What do you think about Ireland? You can always drop me a note. This podcast is hosted on Spotify. You can leave a comment under each podcast episode if you like. But thank you for listening. That's all for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. Whether you're relocating within the country or moving to the other side of the world, we're here to help from start to finish. Connect with us today at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962.